Welcome, guys, to our 2023 virtual open house. We're going to go ahead and get started, but before we jump into sharing all of the lovely information that we've prepared with you guys, I just want to share a few housekeeping rules. So we're in meeting mode, meaning that you're going to have to make sure that you're on mute because all of your noise will then be shared with everyone else that's on the Zoom currently. We're also going to do a question and answer portion towards the end of open house this evening. So we're going to ask that you just kind of, send questions in the chat, but then also keep things kind of to the side so that way we can just talk about things all together at once. You can submit questions through the chat function, and our administrative director will answer them. And if we aren't able to answer all of your questions in the time frame this evening, our administrative director will follow up with you guys in the next few days. So without further ado, I'm going to do some introductions. My name is Jazz, and I am the director here. I've also got on the call with me this evening Izzy Hall, who is our associate director. I've got Catherine Lamel, who is our other associate director. I've got our administrative director, Stacy Rice, with us as well this evening. So without further ado, I'm going to hop into our first topic, and I'm going to kind of briefly give an overview of the daily schedule. So our days at camp start bright and early, 7:30, and then they're followed by breakfast around like 8:15, and then the morning features about 4 activities of 7, and it goes all the way to our lunch. So from about 9:35 to about 12:30, you're gonna know that your child is doing activities of their choice around camp. After their 4th period, there's like a 15-minute kind of break, and then they go to lunch around like 12:45. After lunch around 1:30, we have something that we call rest hour here, which is just a nice little break in the day for a nap, to write letters home, to kind of just take a minute from the high paced environment that they'll be in for most of that morning and just give them a second to kind of recuperate and get some energy back up. Following that rest hour, which ends at 2:30, we have our afternoon snack pretty much that takes place, and then they finish with their 5th, 6th, and 7th activities. And then we have a free time in the afternoon after their 7th period, which they can kind of go around camp and hang out with friends and do activities with friends around camp. Followed by that free time, we have evening flag followed by dinner, and after dinner we have evening program, and then it's lights out and bedtime for everyone because they hit the ground running the next day with the same thing all over again. So as mentioned, your child will have the opportunity to do 7 activity periods a day. We do offer a ton of activities, and we allow campers to choose their activities. We try to really encourage independence and autonomy in each camper that comes to camp. And so giving them the ability to choose whatever activities interest them on opening day is something that we really encourage them to do. They will also have the ability to change their activities. So let's say that they sign up for something and it doesn't turn out the way that they would like, or they just find that they're not interested in it. They have the ability to change their schedule. The first week of camp, we allow them to change their schedule twice, but then every week after that, it switches to just once a week and typically on Wednesdays. Free time provided in the afternoon, evening after their 7th period features things like swimming at the swimming lake, as mentioned, hanging out with friends, and every now and then they'll get a nice little game of touch the fence or gaga ball going as well that the kids love to just hang out and do together. We also have our tuck shop, and tuck shop holds kind of 2 different respective spaces on camp. So tuck shop offers snack, and snack features a variety of different things with considerations to allergies and things of such. And then in the second opportunity that they have to visit the tuck shop, it's more of merch side. So they can purchase things that they might need, like a Crazy Creek, which is a nice little chair that kind of gives them some cushion, but also allows them the ability to not sit directly on the ground. They can buy t-shirts, sweatshirts, and a whole host of different things. We also allow them to have the ability to purchase like personal items, such as like, if I've forgotten my hairbrush or I lost a water bottle, they can go there to get those items just in case they've forgotten anything. So without further ado, we're going to take a glimpse into a day at Keystone.
Free as a bird in the sky, that is what you are. Breathe and you know you're alive. Feel the beat of your heart. Well, life is a crazy way of turning everything upside down. So move with the time that you have. The world will keep spinning round. Don't wait for tomorrow. Live for today. Keep chasing the sunshine and go out and play.
Awesome. Well, that was an amazing video, and I am going to cover a little bit about the activities that we do here at Keystone. So we have over 30 activities that you can choose from, and you'll choose 7 that you'll do every day. There's everything from the creative arts, like weaving and pottery and painting, to super active activities like canoeing, swimming, horseback riding, you name it. Our activities have no age division. So you'll be in activities with some of the older girls, some of the younger girls, depending on the class, and some campers, get a chance to play and learn across all age groups. We do have a progression system, which is incredible. So you'll get to learn your skills and you'll get to master them. And they're called our level system. And so you'll get a reward at the end of each week if you pass a level. And from there, you get to go on incredible trips and progress your skills even more. Campers not only get to play and have fun, but they learn skills that they can take home and show off at home. So fire building skills, painting skills, anything that you can possibly think of. Our barn is one of the most favorite places that we have here at Keystone Camp. And our horseback riding focuses mainly on a hunt seat style of riding, so an English style of riding. We have school horses. So these horses that we own ourselves are getting practice year in and year out. We have a fall program that is extremely popular amongst local kids. And so these horses are trained and well adapted. We also lease horses from different universities in the area and across the United States that have great reputations and are very safe for our campers. We focus a lot on our horsemanship program as well, where we not only get a chance to ride, but we get to learn how to take care of horses. This is such a privilege for our girls as they get the hands-on experience that you might not get at other barns. You learn about grooming, saddling, basic horse first aid, and even things to consider when looking to buy a horse. So building an efficient space to keep a horse is very important, and you get to learn real hands-on ideas of what that is like.
All right, thanks, Catherine. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about how trips work at camp. We have a lot of really great trips that we take out of camp. So most every camper within their time at camp gets to go tubing. They also go on a camp out, which is typically on camp property. We have a few shelters built on our trails just for that purpose. They also get to go to Sliding Rock, which is like a local fun spot, a natural water slide, and then they'll get to go to Dolly's, which is a dairy bar. It's our favorite ice cream nearby. So we'll do this to give every camper the opportunity to go on a trip of some kind. In recent years, we have really focused on our trips program, and we've expanded the number of locations we go to, the types of trips we take out. So for example, a few years ago, we introduced kayaking into our program, and it has just expanded exponentially. There are plenty of opportunities for campus to sign up for a variety of optional trips off camp. Some of them are skill or age based, and then a lot of the others are open to anyone. So you could sign up for a rock climbing trip, you could sign up for a hiking trip. We go to a lot of fun swimming holes and waterfalls nearby. We've recently started doing things like trail running. We also go into Pisgah and we have little picnics. We've done yoga up on the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is my favorite. So there's plenty to sign up for. There's plenty of options. If you don't want to do trips, you don't have to. It's completely optional. And I'll pass it over to Jazz now.
So earlier when I was talking about the daily schedule, I briefly touched on evening programs, so I'm going to elaborate on that a little bit. So every evening following dinner, camp gets together and participates in an activity. This activity we call evening program, and our popular evening programs that we like to do are Gold Rush, Sliding Rock with dollies followed up that Izzy just talked about. Granny's Candy and Movie Night is always a big hit as well. Some of our evening programs are teams based, and then some of them are non-teams based. And when I'm referring to teams, so every camper that comes to camp is assigned a team that stays with them for their entire duration that they're here. They can be earth, wind, water, or fire. And so when we're doing evening programs that are teams based, you get to play with your team alongside them and kind of competitively go against the other teams. Some of our team based evening programs are things like Gold Rush, Granny's Candy, Capture the Color, and Counselor Hunt. And some of our non-team games based evening programs are Cabin Adventure, which gives the girls an opportunity to bond with their cabin mates. Coffee House is kind of like almost a talent show where campers can sign up and put on a performance or a little skit with their friends or show a talent that they have. Second Best Disney Pageant is always a fun one to see counselors dress up in a character and enact them and answer questions. And then, as I mentioned, Movie Night is also a big hit, kind of slows down the pace after a high active day. Sunday's scheduling does look a little bit different here at camp. So we still have the same wake up bell, or I shouldn't say there's a bell. You get to sleep in on Sundays. So on Sunday, you get to sleep in, and you and your cabin mates kind of decide when you get to wake up and go to breakfast. And a nice little thing to look forward to alongside sleeping in is going to breakfast in your pajamas. So it's very, very, easy going in the morning, and in the morning followed after breakfast we have our Sunday morning campfire, which is where we get together as a camp and we sing songs, and our counselors in training, our staff members that are transitioning from being campers to staff, they host a nice informative lesson that goes with the book and offers skills that align with our values that we hold here at camp. And followed by that campfire service in the morning, they have free choice period. And so during choice period, they have the ability to go and do some activities around camp, and can kind of just hang out with friends, and it's not as high intense as it would be on a regular scheduled day. Followed by that, they have lunch, and then followed by lunch, they still have rest hour. It's a little bit longer than an hour, but gives them, Sunday is a very relaxing and slow paced day. But then after that rest hour, they have a camp-wide activity that they get to participate in. That's really fun. We've done things like inflatables. We've kind of done carnival style things. We've had some llamas here in the past. That's really exciting as well. And followed by that, we have dinner, and then we have evening campfire. And evening campfire features some accomplishments and achievements that girls work on in that levels progression system that Catherine mentioned earlier. And we just sing a lot of songs and really just have a good time with each other before heading to bed.
Awesome. Thanks, Jazz. I'm going to share a little bit about our dining hall because honestly, what is more important than where you are going to eat 3 meals a day? So, in our dining hall, we have a ton of choice, and that is one of the biggest things that we pride ourselves on here. So, there's always a hot menu item, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we serve it cafeteria style. So, if we're having spaghetti, you'll walk up to the line and you'll have the option of either getting plain noodles that you can put a little Parmesan cheese on, you can get spaghetti with meat sauce, or you can get spaghetti with marinara sauce. There are tons of options, and we want you to be really able to pick exactly what you want. If you don't like anything on the hot bar for whatever reason, we have tons of other options for you to eat as well. During breakfast, this means that we have yogurt, granola, cereal, bagels, and fruit available. And then during lunch and dinner, we have a sandwich bar and we have a salad bar that you can pick from and get a salad or a turkey sandwich, whatever is going to fill your belly the best. We sit by cabin group. So every day you'll kind of come back, sit with your cabin, and it's a great opportunity to catch up with your friends and tell them about your day and get to hear everybody else's story about all the activities that they went to during the day. We accommodate most dietary restrictions, everything from vegan and vegetarian to really specific and serious food allergies. One of the things that helps us the most in terms of food allergies is making sure that those medical forms are filled out correctly with any updated allergy information. We need those forms filled out before your child gets to camp. So that way we know at the dining hall and the nursing staff knows. One of the other things that I love to encourage is having kids practice self-advocacy. If they have a food allergy, we are able to accommodate. So, for example, if there's a gluten allergy that needs a separate meal prepared, we will have that prepared for your daughter. But then we also need them to be able to go up to the window and ask for that specific meal. So that way our kitchen staff can make sure that they get fed and they get the meal that they need and it all works out. I'm passing it on to Izzy to talk about cabin life.
So our ratios within our cabins, you typically have 8 to 12 campers in a cabin with 2 to 3 counselors. Some cabins can be a little bit bigger. We have one cabin or a couple of cabins that can house up to 14 campers. Campers are grouped by a grade. So sometimes we will mix these grades. So you could have a 3rd and 4th grade cabin. But we do this while still maintaining a group that is as close in age as possible. We have private bathrooms and showers and sinks in each cabin. Counselors have a separate sleeping area in the cabin, so they're not in the middle of the campus. Cabins are designed to be a place to unwind, to play games, talk about the day, create a community within the cabin, and make friends, and then connect with their incredible counselors too. We also, because we like to encourage independence and responsibility at camp, we do chores in the morning before breakfast. This is where everybody in the cabin, including the counselors, will help to clean up the cabin and make sure, beds are made, the floors are swept, laundry's taken out, trash is taken out. And this is all because we do inspection every single day. And if you win cabin inspection for the session, you get to go to Dolly's, you get to eat extra ice cream, and it's super exciting, it's super fun. So we really like to emphasize keeping those cabins clean. It's really important. Jazz, over to you.
So I am going to touch on Key Camp. So Key Camp is a 6-day long camp adventure that runs Sunday to Friday. This session is basically a soft launch of the camp experience before really delving into the longer sessions that we offer. Activities offered during this session do differ from activities offered during our longer sessions due to skill level and size. So for instance, archery is not a activity that we do offer due to the weight of the guns and the kids being able to safely operate them and things of that sort. So we do take that into consideration, especially because for this session, these are our youngest campers that come to camp. We want to always keep safety first and foremost in the front part of our mind. For this session, we do encourage parents to utilize our email system and write pre-written letters before camp due to the duration of the session itself and the mail system running slow. Letters can also be dropped off on opening day as you're dropping your kid off. For this session, as I mentioned, it does have our youngest group of campers. We offer opportunities for independence at camp, so we want to make sure that your child has some essential skills under their belt before they do come to camp, like changing their own clothes, brushing their own teeth, using the bathroom independently, and showering independently. We're currently preparing a new guidebook with more information that is specific to Key Camp, so if you're interested, please make sure that you drop a message about that in the chat box so we can get you that information. I'm going to pass it over to Catherine.
So to kind of circle back a little bit about Keystone Camp. We are a 4th generation family owned private summer camp in the Southeast. We are actually the oldest private summer camp in the Southeast, founded in 1916. Our family has owned this camp the entire time, which is super cool. And I will be the 5th generation of directors stepping in later on. Keystone Camp, because of this tradition and because of these family values, has meant so much to so many girls throughout the years. We are a camp that builds character and shapes young women for the rest of their lives. We pride ourselves on not only challenging the individual girl and highlighting their skills and their achievements, but also their skills within the community. Every girl here has a place in the Keystone community, and that is what is most important to us. That is why we do cabin cleanup. It's why we do our activities. It's to really shine not only as yourself, but as a full individual in a community that is supportive and creative. Jazz will now talk to you a little bit about our infirmary.
So our infirmary is our health center here at camp. It stays staffed with 2 registered nurses on site that stay there at all times. Here at camp, our nurses are the only people allowed to dispense medications. So we do have a rule that is for both campers and counselors alike, where we do not allow medication in cabins in any way, shape, or form. We also have access to a local doctor that makes camp calls, and we're also 10 minutes away from the hospital should an emergency come up. If a nurse reaches out to you, it could fall under the following situations. There's been a decision that has been made that your camper will be seen by the doctor, either here on site or at a doctor's office. There is a conclusion of a visit with the doctor to keep you in the loop and make sure that you're up to date on what's going on with your child. If your child has been in the infirmary and will be spending the night or has spent the night in the infirmary, you'll receive a call. If there's a question about medication or treatment, you'll receive a call. If there's an injury in an activity or if your child has an allergic reaction, you will also receive a call under any of those circumstances. We also strive, being that we are an all-girls camp, to hire all-female staff, and with intentionality of maintaining our close-knit community. We're really small compared to other camps in the area. We have about 150 campers, followed up by 60 to 65 staff members, and we try to keep that camper to staff ratio of 4 to 1. On average, you'll see about 60% of our staff were once campers at camp, and they follow that progression through our leadership program and other levels or other ways to make the transition to being a staff member. On average, over 65% of our campers are returning year after year, and many of those campers have been at Keystone for at least 5 years, if not longer. I'm going to pass it over to Stacy so she can talk about our communication, email system, and photos.
Thanks, Jazz. Okay, so we have a variety of ways that both we keep in touch with you as parents during the summer and ways that you can keep in touch with your camper while they're here with us, no matter the length of their session. So one of those ways is through what is called Camp in Touch. That is the parent side of our system database, and that is where you will do just about everything as you prepare for camp. It's where you did your application or will do your application if you are a prospective camper. It's also where you will complete forms, make payments, and do all of those kinds of things. And so within that system, you'll also be able to see photos throughout the day, as well as in the session as well, and also do an email system. And what that email system is you can purchase what is called a camp stamp. It costs $1 to send an email. They all come into the same place, and it gets printed every day around 12 o'clock. And your camper receives that email along with the rest of their snail mail at rest hour after lunch. It's really important to make sure that you check a box that says print a blank response sheet, so that way your camper can choose to respond to you and write a handwritten response. They learn where to drop that off outside of our dining hall each day, and whatever is in that little box is taken by myself and our office moms, who upload that into the system, and it's barcoded and sent directly to your account. So you can both send and receive emails and be able to communicate with your camper on a daily basis. We do them Monday through Saturday, so we don't do mail on Sundays, but we do them every other day. We also recommend snail mail. That is a great way to communicate as well. As Jazz said earlier, you can drop off letters, especially for those who are in key camp or even a 2-week session. We do have a box that we'll have on opening day, and you can drop off whatever letters you want your camper to get, so that you ensure that it gets here, and we're not relying on USPS, because sometimes in our area the mail can take quite a long time to arrive. So we get lots of mail after the summer that took over a month to get here. So that is definitely an option you can use for those shorter sessions. And we have a no package policy, and that is so that everybody stays on the same level playing field. So we ask that no food, no candy, no gum, no nothing comes, even in those little letters you'll send. Please don't send anything like that. We keep all food out of the cabins as much as possible, so we don't have any critter problems. And any sort of candy or gum that gets sent in via those can create some little critter parties. You can also send a decorated watermelon or a fruit basket through a local vendor that we use here in town. You can find information about that on our website. And we love watermelon parties. It's a big hit with campers in their cabins. They love to get them and share them as a cabin. And so it's a great way to provide something and have your camper feel like they're getting a package, but within sort of the framework that we need it to be. Additionally, there is also an app for mobile phones that is called Companion, and it's done by CampMinder, which is the system database I was talking about earlier. And you can download that onto your mobile device, and you'll use the same login information that you use on your desktop. And what this allows you to do is you can actually upload a current photo of your camper, and that will allow the system to use its technology to filter out photos of only your child and tag them in that. You can also tag your child in photos you see. If for some reason the system missed it, you can tag your child in that photo so that you are seeing just what you really want to be seeing and not having to scroll through hundreds of photos multiple times a day. So it's really important to upload that training photo, which you'll do before the summer starts. You can also use this to stay in communication. It's a little thing that are called micro posts that are short snippets that we will use sporadically throughout the winter, but then on a more regular basis in the spring and every day in the summer, where we can provide videos and photos and give you a more in-depth look at the experience your child is having and bring you a little bit closer to the day-to-day action here at camp. So you can set push notifications that will go directly to your phone, so you can receive a notification when there's a new photo, when there's a micro post, or anything else that might be in there as well. So we're really excited to utilize more of that Companion app this year. Okay, I am going to turn it over to Izzy now. She's going to talk a little bit about mother-daughter.
Okay, mother-daughter. I love mother-daughter weekends. They are so much fun. They are kind of designed to give you an opportunity to experience, for moms, to experience camp alongside your child. The purpose is to give you an introduction to camp, you know, if you're a little bit unsure about sending your child, or maybe it's going to be their first summer and you want to kind of prepare them and have a little bit of lay of the land, so they know where things like the dining hall are, where the pavilion is, where arts and crafts is for when they come during the summer. There are some things that are different between regular camp sessions and mother-daughter weekends, but for the most part, they run typically the same. You go through activities, you do an evening program, we have campfire. Sometimes we even have the Dolly's Trolley come and everybody gets ice cream. That's always really fun. So for next year, our dates for mother-daughter weekends will be May 10th to 12th and then May 17th to 19th. Registration for that, I believe, is going to open in December.
Early
Stay
January, right after the
Early
holiday.
January. Okay, sorry, my bad, everyone. But you will be receiving some more information about that in the next month. There's also some information about mother-daughter on our website if you would like to take a look. I'm going to turn it back over to Jazz now.
So for this next part of our open house, we are going to give you guys a parent perspective. We have a parent with us by the name of Tammy Feldman. She has two daughters that have been coming to camp. One of her daughters has been coming for 3 years, and the other one will be coming again for her second summer this upcoming summer. And she's just going to give a little bit of insight about what camp means to her kids and how impactful it has been for them and her family. So I'm going to turn it over to Tammy.
Hi, everyone. Can you guys all hear me? Is the sound working? Okay. My name is Tammy, and we live in Roswell, Georgia. We have 2 girls that attend Keystone Camp. They are both 7 and 9, and as they said, this is going to be their second and third year going. From our first Keystone in November of 2021, my husband and I knew this was going to be the right camp. Sleepaway camp growing up, we knew what we were looking for. We immediately felt a sense of warmth from the administration. There are so many wonderful things about Keystone. We love that the girls get to choose their daily activities. They also can take horseback riding, which my younger one really likes, and horsemanship, where you can take care of the animals, and that's what my older one likes. It's really nice to have that available. The dogs at camp also fill the void when my girls miss their own dogs at home, and their favorite dog is Duke, and he's my favorite too. The field trip choices that they have at camp are really unique. The girls get to decide if they want to go on a trip, and they don't have to go with their cabin, which means that they get to meet other girls of all different ages. It is also nice if they have a sibling at camp at Keystone, because then they can get to do a trip together and spend time together. My girls both did a canoe trip this past July. They had such great stories about my little one who couldn't even paddle, and the counselor had to get her out of the canoe and help them. When I picked them up from camp, mountain. Some really nice girls, seeing the pictures on the companion app of them all up on the mountain painting, and she was with all these different kids, not from her cabin. We also love that the campers come from all over. I didn't want my girls going to the same camp that their friends go to. It's nice to have a break from school friends and take new ones. Another big plus for us is that the cabins have the girls are also required to, according to my girls, cleaning the shower, and I can't blame them, and they certainly won't do that at home. Sleepaway camp teaches so many things about independence. It also teaches them how to handle situations. Other parents there, they have to solve. The counselors are amazing at helping in situations. They also learn responsibility and a sense of community at camp. Keystone is the whole camp. As a parent of two girls, I love the dress code, which is no crop tops and only one piece or tankinis for swimming. I love the fact that there are no electronics allowed at camp. Letters are handwritten like my husband and I did when we went to sleepaway camp. And I also love that they're required on Sundays to write a letter. My older one only sent the letters on Sundays. Another thing I really like is that they offer mother-daughter weekend for new or prospective campers. This was huge for my girls since they didn't understand how sleepaway camp worked. Going for the weekend got them acclimated to the camp, staff, and other families. They got to do activities, eat in the dining hall, and sleep in the cabin. After the weekend, they were so excited for camp to begin. They had no fears. The toy store and bakery in town helped too. It has become a tradition when we pick the girls up from camp. Overall, the camp offers everything we wish for our girls and more. Both of my girls look forward to Keystone each summer and wish camp was much longer than it is. They wish they could be there the entire summer, and my husband and I wish they could too.
Thank you so much, Tammy, for your kind words. And I hope that that gave a wonderful parent perspective and insight to what camp really can mean. I'm going to turn it over to Izzy so she can facilitate our Q&A portion of this.
I apologize. My dog just started barking right as you said I'm going to turn it over. So if you can hear him in the background, I apologize. So this is going to be a little Q&A portion of our Zoom. Stacy is also going to put our office email in the chat and also our phone number in the chat. Should you think of a question in, the middle of the night and you need somewhere to send it to, feel free to send Stacy an email or give us a call. But for right now, if you have any questions or anything you're unsure about, please feel free to put it in the chat, and we will answer them the best we can right now. Maybe Jazz could start us off with one.
I think it's important to talk about the weather because it is very sporadic and all over the place. One minute it's sunny and it's warm, and then the next minute it's dumping down, torrential downpour. So I would definitely encourage packing a really, really good rain jacket. We even have some kids that pack rain boots for when it rains. You don't have to go to that extent, but definitely a water shoe of some sort, because activities still happen when it rains here. We do not cancel activities when it rains unless it is severe weather. And we do have a weather system for that. That allows us the ability to know when inclement weather is coming, and we go into shelter, and we have a whole process for that we talk about with campers. But in the event that it's just rain and it's not anything that's stopping, us from having fun, then we play in the rain and we encourage playing in the rain. You might even see some photos of kids kind of dancing in the rain and just kind of really enjoying being out in nature and soaking it all up. But I would definitely encourage a lot of sunscreen and a good rain jacket, because the weather does vary, and you'll want to make sure that you pack some warm clothing as well, especially as sometimes the nighttime it does get a little chilly.
I'll go ahead and plug our holiday shop. You can get a sweatshirt, perfect and just in time for camp. And that's available right now in our Shopify, but it's a good option for those chilly nights and campfires when we're not doing too much.
Okay, so there is a question from a parent. For younger campers, can you explain about the cabins? Are there counselors in the cabin with them? Are there bunk beds? So in the cabins, we do have bunk beds for campers. Like I mentioned earlier, there is typically 8 to 12 campers, but there are a couple of cabins that can accommodate up to 14. Campers are in the cabins with counselors. Counselors do have a separate sleeping area. There is no door between the separate sleeping areas, so they can't get shut out or anything. but it does offer our counselors a little bit of privacy. It also offers our campers a little bit of privacy as well. Cabins, again, have those private showers and bathrooms, so no need to walk out in the middle of the night to a bathhouse or anything. So that's a little bit about the cabins. Oh, and there is typically 2 to 3 counselors in each cabin. Someone else has asked how laundry works at camp. And if campers need to be sent with Tide Pods. Catherine, I'm gonna pass that one over to you.
Thank you so much. We do laundry for our girls every week. So your daughter's cabin will be assigned a laundry day, and everybody's laundry will be sent to our laundry room. And it will be collected before the end of the day, where it will then be sorted in the cabin for them to fold everything and put it back in their trunks. Because of this process and because we wash everything together, we highly recommend that you label your daughter's clothing with their name. And that's really every piece of clothing that you can find. It can be a bit of a time suck, but we recommend because it makes that laundry day activity so much easier. We also provide a clean towel for everybody every day. And that is general practice. They can use that for swimming or they can use it for their showers. We are recommending now that you send your daughter with a towel that they can use, whether that's for swimming every day or for showering, just so they have another option. So that way they're not using their swimming towel for their shower in the evenings as well. It'll make it that much easier for them. The laundry detergent that we use is completely dye and scent free. So it should be able to accommodate any sensitivities of the skin or eczema or things that might flare up with scent or dyes. But if you have any questions about how our laundry works, or what kind of detergents we're using, feel free to email the office and we can talk more about that and answer any more specific questions as well.
Perfect. So another question we've gotten is whether trunks are required or if campers can bring any kind of luggage with them. We do recommend a trunk just because it is typically the easiest to pack in and then make sure that you're able to get all of your belongings out and keep it nice and organized. Other things that we've seen are like duffels. Suitcases are typically not big enough unless your child is only coming for, say, a key session. But those trunks are really, really, really useful for packing. And packing with like those vacuum seal bags are good. Separating, if your child is coming and they're quite young, separating out outfits for each day, or even saying socks are here, underwear is here, making sure you go through and they understand what you've packed for them, or having them pack with you is really helpful. Another question we've gotten is, do counselors help the younger campers with applying sunscreen, brushing their hair, etc.? Of course, absolutely 100%. Our counselors are there to assist our campers with anything they need help with, tying shoes, making their bed, again, putting on sunscreen. We do ask, like Jazz said, that they do come with pretty basic skills such as cutting up their own food and showering independently. Those are things that we kind of expect of a child coming to camp. A good question. Catherine, can you give me some examples of some meals that are offered in our dining hall?
Fantastic. Absolutely. We have a very regular breakfast schedule. So it'll be a combination of scrambled eggs with grits or maybe a hash brown patty. We also do biscuits and gravy. That's super popular. Like I said at the beginning, we do a spaghetti meal. We'll do a fried chicken meal on Sundays. That's super popular. It's everybody's favorite. We'll do cookouts sometimes. So we'll all eat outside and have hamburgers and hot dogs. We do, for some lunches, we'll do corn dogs or we'll do chili. Other dinners include taco night. There, we did beef stroganoff at one point. We have so many different options, and we do a vegetarian/vegan meal for each one of those as well. So whether or not you eat meat, you will have food available for you.
Awesome. Another question relating to food. This one says, my daughter like really loves having a late night snack just to, get her through to breakfast. Are there any sort of snacks available even throughout the day, possibly, or late at night before she goes to bed?
Absolutely. So during the day, we'll have fruit out, and we are currently working on debuting probably a cracker situation, whether that's those really good peanut butter and cheese crackers or cheese sticks. Those will be available kind of during the day to tide people over between meals, because everybody's running around so much. No matter how much you eat at breakfast or lunch, it'll still be a long time before that next meal. We also do milk and cookies after evening program. And so that will fill that midnight snack need right before we head up to the cabin and go to bed. And that is a graham cracker and a glass of milk. Super satisfying, just a little something to get everybody nice and ready for bed.
Awesome. So another question is about opening day and what the opening day process looks like. Jazz, I might get you to talk about opening day and kind of what to expect with that.
So, opening day is a marathon, but it's the best marathon that we all get to experience together. It's a very exciting day. It's a day that is it's filled with a little bit of nerves. It's filled with a lot of just kind of logistical things. So Stacy will email you your arrival time, and you come in through those gates, and we'll collect medication. If you have medication, you'll speak with our nurses if that's the case. And if not, you'll basically pull straight through on our main road of camp, and you'll have the opportunity to say goodbye very briefly, meet the counselors of your camper as well. So you will be able to kind of get a very quick introduction to them, chat with them for a second at the car. And we do encourage parents to, take photos and really savor in that moment, but we try to keep the line moving. So we ask that you do stay in your car during that time. But the drop-off process is quick. And so once you drop them off and they get out the car and we unload the luggage out of the back, they're on their way to the cabin to meet their cabin mates if their cabin mates there, or sometimes if there's nobody else in the cabin, they'll hang on the green with everyone else until they get some cabin mates that they can go up to the cabin and meet with. After arrival is over, we go into lunch, and lunch is always a classic: chicken tenders and French fries, which really, really is a big favorite of the campers. And then we have various rotations that take place in the afternoon, but also have one big one that we do during lunch. So during lunch, kind of overlap into the rotations in the afternoon. We have life checks that take place, and so this is for our best interest, but also the best interest of camp as a community as well, especially with girls being in shared close quarters together and things like that. And once they do their rotations in the evening or in the afternoon, those rotations are a swim test, and that is facilitated by our swimming director and lifeguards, just to make sure that we can have the proper safety and equipment when it comes to swimming in our aquatics that we have here on camp. We also have a rotation where activity signups takes place. So pretty much they come up the steps, and I hand them a paper and I explain that they have 7 different activities that they can sign up for, and we just let them go out and conquer and, pick whatever really speaks to them in that moment. And then the last rotation is just a games rotation where they can kind of, be with each other and get to play. And it's not so intense with just an overwhelming, we need to do this, we need to do this, because it is one thing after the next. We also do headshots while they're down there. And if you've ordered something while you were going through the line on opening day, they'll have the opportunity to pick that up, or it'll be delivered to their cabin. And then we wrap up opening day with evening campfire, and that evening campfire is where we just kind of go over some camp rules. We'll sing a few songs, and then we kind of just call it a night pretty early, just to give the cabin some one-on-one time with their counselors to be able to facilitate that cabin community and set some of their own cabin rules and what they want out of the session with each other.
Awesome. Opening day is a pretty big day, so there's a lot going on, but it's a fun day. It's definitely a fun day. I have another question about birthdays at camp. So at camp, birthdays are celebrated 100%. Typically, we will have the counselors grab decorations, party hats. They'll make a big poster, a card, and the poster will be hung up in the dining hall, maybe some streamers, and everybody will sing happy birthday to them. Typically at lunchtime, I believe. And they'll get a big cake, blow out their candles. We do try to capture footage of that, so we can send you photos or videos. On their birthday, also, the camper will get to have a phone call home. So Stacy usually arranges with the parents, what time are you available? What time works best for you? So I can get them in the office to give you a phone call. You can wish them happy birthday, because having a birthday at camp is like super, super special. It's super fun and memorable, but we also want to be able to give your child and you the opportunity to connect with one another on that day. Another one I have is their help picking activities with the youngest campers. The young ones could still be learning to read. They might not understand what some of the activities are. So, Catherine, do you have any information about help with picking activities?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that activity signups work on opening day is there's a counselor for every single activity that they can sign up for. So if they're unsure of what activity a counselor is sitting at, or they don't know where to find horseback riding, they can go to one of those counselors and they'll point them in the right direction. Their cabin counselors are also with them the entire time. So if they have any questions about what is creative writing or what is pottery, their cabin counselors can facilitate that. And if there's a lot of confusion, they can kind of walk around with them and suggest ideas, maybe not going from the barn all the way up to the canoe lake and then back down to archery, because all those things are quite far away, and we can spot those things and maybe make a suggestion of how they can work their schedule so they're not going to wear themselves out by third period.
Awesome. Our last question for this evening before we wrap up, we have a question about how we handle homesickness with campers. I think the best person to speak about this is Jazz. She is our resident homesickness expert, I would say.
So I want to start with saying that I myself was homesick when I first came to camp in 2017. I mean, I remember crying and everything, so I understand exactly how it feels to have the feeling. And homesickness is very normal. Being away from home can be scary, especially if it is the first time being away from home. And it's super important that in talking about coming to camp, you include those conversations in preparation of, being away from home and what that might feel like. We encourage campers to come to camp with keepsakes or photos or things from home that can bring them some comfort and make camp feel like a second home for them. But it is still very normal. We train our staff members, each and every single one of them, on how to handle homesickness. And we treat it with a lot of patience, a lot of grace, and a lot of compassion and understanding, because it can be very hard for a camper to be here for the first time, or even, we've had campers that have come several years and still have that same feeling of homesickness, and it's just a part of their process that they have to work through. But we do offer supports in that area with just setting up the ability for them to go and talk to their counselor, or we have other skills that we teach our staff to help out with, such as chain links, which is where they get to basically write down a memory from each day, and then they get to make a link out of those paper strips that they use to write those memories down on. And then at the end of the session, they have this wonderful kind of like collection of memories that they've made over the time that they were at camp. And in other situations, they might do a countdown calendar to kind of really help them realize, like, I just got here and I'm literally about to leave in like 2 days, because sometimes they get so caught up in like, I'm not home and, I don't see anybody that's familiar, but that's okay. We are all going to go through different experiences in life and things that really we're going to be a little uncomfortable with. And so we try to empower them to work through that feeling of uncomfortability, and to know that like it is okay. And camp is a great opportunity to meet new people, make new friends, and camp can feel like home. It is home for a lot of our girls that do come to camp, whether it's their first time and they realize that by the end of the session, or they've been here for 10 summers. And so I just want to really reiterate how important it is to, make sure that you are talking about, strategies and tools that they can use prior to coming to camp, but then also while they're here at camp, if they do feel homesick, but that it is very normal. And we do encourage them to kind of push through with the supports that we have in place, knowing that they can lean on us if they are feeling that way. And we're always here to talk and really get them to buy into camp, because buy-in is so important. Once they have kind of convinced themselves that they can't do it, it does make it significantly harder to have a good camp experience. So really making sure that like they're willing to try activities, they're willing to make an effort, goes a long way. And a little secret tip is always, when they're distracted and having fun, they're never thinking about that. Oh, I'm a little sad. And I always say, like, it's okay to feel a little bit sad, but like there's so much fun that could be had here, and there's so many stories that you can go home and share. You just gotta try. It's all about trying and some effort. So homesickness is very normal, but we do have a lot of equipped staff, and I'm always happy to talk to a homesick camper. I've been in a lot of different situations, I'll tell you what, but there's nothing that I think I haven't seen yet that has really stumped me. So.
Awesome. So that is going to wrap up our Q&A. So Jazz, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to bounce it back to you again so you can wrap it up and thank all of our participants. But thank you so much for coming.
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. We hope to see all of you potentially this upcoming summer. Please feel free to join us for our mother-daughter weekends, or go ahead to our website and submit your application. We currently do have limited space for younger campers in our June Mini, Mini 1, and August sessions. Stacy is going to drop a link for our dates and rates page of our website in the chat box where you can find specific information. Again, if you have any other questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to use the email or phone number that Stacy dropped in the chat earlier. Thank you all for your time and joining us this evening. I hope that you all have a great night. Bye, guys.